If I had to have one breakfast for the rest of my life, it would probably be this. The breakfast burrito is one of my most favorite breakfasts of all time because it's all of the best components of breakfast wrapped in a crispy, beautiful, chewy tortilla, and ideally with a perfect sauce on the side. You probably don't feel good at the end of the day, but you're good to go. And this has all the elements of what I think the greatest breakfast burrito should have. It's inspired by the restaurant Sobane in LA, which if you've been there, you know what I'm talking about, but LA has the best breakfast burritos, and this is emphasizing that. So that being said, let's make this, shall we? All right, small sauce pot, 1 cup of peeled garlic cloves, and 2 cups of veg oil, which is short for vegetable oil. That can also be canola, avocado oil, I don't care. Just some sort of neutral tasting oil, ideally. Now turn that on to medium-low heat, and you're just gonna let that cook until it starts to bubble. If it starts bubbling too fast, turn it down to low, and you're just gonna very gently cook this until the garlic is lightly caramelized and totally soft throughout. Once your garlic is confitted, all the French people watching this right now are like, relax. Now you're gonna strain your confit garlic through a metal fine mesh strainer, not a plastic one. Well, why not a plastic one, Josh? I don't know if you know, but this is really hot oil. Thank you. So your garlic is like so beautifully soft, deeply caramelized. I mean, you could literally spread this on toast like butter, which I would recommend, but not in this case because we need to use it for our sauce. Any breakfast burrito needs a good sauce. We're not doing a salsa, we're doing a creamy jalapeno sauce. So start with 8 jalapenos, and you're gonna set a Y rack over a stovetop. Yeah, you can also do a blowtorch, or you can broil these in your broiler, or literally you could just boil them. The point is we need to soften them, but by charring them, you add a little bit of smokiness. So we have these over a direct flame. We're gonna let the direct flame hit these bad boys, turning them frequently for the next 2 to 4 minutes or until they're thoroughly blackened all the way around, edge to edge like this. Now, once those are all charred, you're gonna place them into a bowl carefully, and then you're gonna cover that bowl with plastic wrap or a lid or another bowl. You just need to trap in all the steam that's being produced by these hot chilies and let them sit at room temp for like a minute or 2 just to soften them up. All right, these are softened up. I've got a paper towel that's lightly dampened, 2 of them actually. Now we're gonna open this up, nice and steamy in here. And all you need to do is just peel the charred part of the jalapeno off. So how do you do that? Grab a jalapeno, little technique I like. You'll wrap the paper towel around the jalapeno, and see where that little base is? I'm gonna cover that up and I'm gonna form a ring around this and push the jalapeno through that ring, and you have peeled jalapeno. This is ready to blend, but you need to repeat that with all of your jalapenos. Okay, we have all of our peeled jalapenos. We're gonna remove the tops. You can leave the seeds, leave everything in it. I want this spicy. If you're worried about it being spicy, I don't care. Into a blender. I'm kidding, you can remove the seeds if you don't want it to be too spicy. Remove the seeds, remove the white pith, but you'll also get a lot less volume in here. Now, to that, we're gonna add 2 big egg yolks, the juice of 3 limes, all of our confit garlic from earlier, about a tablespoon of lime zest, and then I would say if you got a bunch of cilantro, about a half that bunch, stems and all, everything, which is give or take about 3/4 of a cup of cilantro fresh. Boom, boom, in there. Be sure to have a little bit of cold water set to the side just to help loosen this in case it's too thick. Add a generous pinch of salt to taste. We'll add more later. Now, we're gonna get to blending. So, start blending on medium speed, then slowly increase to medium high. If that's too thick, add a little splash of water just to loosen, and once that's vortexing beautifully, you're gonna stream in about half or 3/4 of your oil, just until it's creamy and slightly thickened, while that's blending, to be clear. All right, this is done, it's thick, it's a beautiful creamy sauce. Taste it first before you take it out of the blender and add more salt as needed, right? Could use a little more. Touch of salt. You can also add more lime juice if you want more acidity out of this.
And obviously, it's easier to just pop that back onto the base and blend it until fully incorporated, rather than mixing it in a bowl. Now, you can pour that into a serving container, a bowl, a jar, and you'll keep this in your refrigerator until ready to use.
Now, listen, I need to make a plea here. Think of all the things you can put in breakfast burrito. Bacon, ham, Spam, right? Those are all great additions. Big fan of that. I wanna put chorizo in it. But wait, please, before you go buy chorizo, hear me out. This chorizo is a step up. You don't need to squeeze it out of the tube. You don't need to squeeze it out of the casing. All you need is ground pork and a few chilies, and you can make this. You should try it. Now, you can get these at just about any grocery store. You can buy them online in bulk. You'll start with 4 dried guajillo chilies. You can throw these in straight up, or you can take the seeds out. I personally prefer to take the seeds out just so that it's a more smooth consistency. So you'll rip off the tops. You can also cut them off with scissors, and then you'll open them up. and just shake out those seeds, right? Boom. One and done. Next one. Open her up. Next one, and then just repeat that with all of your guajillos. And you're gonna do that exact same thing with 2 dried ancho chilies and 4 chili de árbol. Now the chili de árbol don't have like a ton of seeds in them, and they do make it a little spicier. So if you want it hotter, you can actually just leave these whole. I'm gonna choose to remove the seeds just for a smoother consistency. Shake them out, put them over there. Okay, so we have all of our chilies. We're gonna move over to the stove. We have a small sauce pot of boiling water. It can be as big or as small as you want. I really don't care. You just need all the chilies to fit in there. So first the guajillos are gonna go in. Then we've got our chili de árbol going in. All your chilies are gonna go in this boiling water. Now, you can add a lid to this. You could throw this on top and then just lower the heat to low. Just let it gently simmer. It'll take like 3 to 5 minutes of rehydration time. You want these essentially just to rehydrate until they're soft enough to tear easily. Woo! Now once those chilies are soft enough to tear, you can either pour these through a fine mesh strainer but reserve the liquid, or you can scoop them out with a spider or a slotted spoon, place them into a blender. Make sure not to skip out on any of these chilies because the small ones will escape your grasp if you don't pay attention. Okay, to this, we're gonna add 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of coriander, 2 teaspoons of ground cumin, 1 tablespoon of kosher salt, 2 cloves of fresh garlic, and 1/4 cup of white distilled vinegar. So you're gonna start blending this, and you have your hot liquid here just to loosen it up. I don't want this to be super liquidy. I just want it to be a nice puree. So first let's start blending it on low. Now when it first starts to blend, it looks like it's plenty good, except it'll thicken very quickly. So at that point, you're gonna slowly stream in just a little bit of your chili water.
Now you're gonna blend that on high speed.
Just until it's loosened and it looks like this. Now we have 1.5 pounds of ground pork, ideally a high fat percentage pork, ideally 70% lean. I want this to be fatty. So you're gonna add all of your mixture to your ground pork. Ideally let it cool down first. And then you're just gonna knead that in there. Fold it over itself, press it down until it's fully integrated and homogeneous.
Now look, you can use this immediately, but if you really want the flavors to have a chance to meld, you'll wrap it in plastic wrap and let it refrigerate for at least a couple of hours, or ideally overnight.
This chorizo's been marinating overnight, but obviously you can go straight to cooking. So I have a large 12-inch skillet here, heating over medium-high heat, just a tiny bit of oil to prevent sticking, although theoretically you could skip that. And then you're just going to press this into your hot pan, kind of like one giant burger patty. And I just want that to sear. Don't touch it. Let it sear for 2 to 3 minutes before we start breaking it up. After 2 to 3 minutes, you could do this theoretically with a wooden spoon, but we're gonna break this up with a potato masher. It works insanely well. Just push down and twist, push down and twist. And you're just gonna kind of periodically do that as it continues to sear over the next 5 or so minutes, just to get it as finely as possible. The goal here is get it fine, get the fat rendered out of it, and let it crisp and fully cook in its own fat. About 5 to 8 minutes. Okay, now, once you've got a little bit of crispiness, a little bit of browning on your pork and it's cooked through, you can set this to the side. How do you know if the chorizo is gonna be good? If you finish stirring the chorizo and your spoon looks like this, usually a pretty good sign. A very important component to a breakfast burrito, in my opinion, is hash browns. You can do them so many different ways. If you wanna make them at home, great. But you wanna make your life easy, these are from H-E-B. But just about every grocery store has some sort of hash brown patty in the frozen section. Normally I don't recommend frozen, but these kind of bang if you actually deep fry them. Now, if you wanna make your own, I have a recipe for them in my breakfast sandwich video, which is on this channel. If you just look up the best breakfast sandwich ever, it's on there and you can make your own duck fat hash browns. Great, love it. But look, we're already doing a lot here. So frozen patties, drop those in. It'll be usually 1 or 2 patties per burrito. So do like 3 at a time. We're frying these at 350 Fahrenheit for like 2 to 4 minutes or until golden brown, delicious, and crispy. All right, these bad boys are done. I'm gonna fish them out with a spider, let them drain, and then continue with however many hash browns I have. They may need salt. If they do, add just a touch while they're still hot so the salt adheres, and let those cool and drain. This makes anywhere between 4 to 6 burritos, depending on the size of your tortillas, but I would say about 6. So if you're gonna do 2 eggs per burrito, which is what I'm gonna do, you'll need about 12 eggs. I'm gonna crack 12 eggs into a large bowl. If you can crack 2 at a time, great, good for you. I can too, but I get shell in there sometimes when I do this. Whoa, what the hell? So cool. Wait, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh. Don't look. If you do get shell in there though, here's a fun little trick for you. So, you know how the shell always escapes your finger? Somehow, using another shell, boom, first try. For some reason, I don't know why, the shell attracts the other shell. It's almost like it misses its brethren. So we have a 12-inch nonstick skillet getting warm over medium heat. While I'm waiting for that, I'm gonna whisk these until smooth and homogeneous. All right, now we're gonna start off with 2.5 tablespoons of butter. You could throw in more, honestly, but I just need enough to coat the bottom of the pan. Josh, why would you put in more? Are you really asking me why you would put more butter into a pan? All right, once that's melted and bubbling, you then add your whisked eggs. Now, you can season these a little bit with salt. It's kind of hard to eyeball seasoning scrambled eggs, but what I usually do is I pretend that this is like one big fried egg, and then I season the surface area of it to try to eyeball it. We can add more salt later though to see if that was correct. So you'll just start moving the pan around constantly, scraping around the edges, and just keep the eggs moving. They're gonna start cooking underneath, but there's so many eggs in here, it's not gonna scramble right away. What we want to avoid is rubbery eggs. I want eggs with just enough structure that they hold up, but they're also still moist. They're not dry and like chewy.
Now, as soon as you start to see that egg begin to set and there's little thin curds starting to form at the bottom, pull the pan off the heat, continue stirring, then go back on the heat, off the heat, repeatedly to prevent the eggs from getting too overcooked. Really, the goal here is to make the cooked egg curd as small as possible. Now, we're not quite going for a soft cooked egg. I'd say it's in between a medium and a hard cooked egg. Hard cooked would be purely rubber, no liquid at all. We want them to just be a little juicy, just a little luscious like this. This will keep them from being dry, but it'll also keep the egg flavor nice and mellow. So once it's achieved that stage, you're gonna wanna take it off the heat. You can either put that on a plate or a small sheet tray, whatever you happen to have, so that the cooking stops.
So for your avocados, you're gonna slice them in half, remove the pit, slice them in half again so you have quarters, peel them, and then you're gonna slice these pretty thick. I want these around a 1/2 inch thick. You can even go as thick as 1 inch. I want chunky avocado in here. Put those on a quarter sheet tray, add a light sprinkling of flaky salt, and squeeze a little bit of lime juice on top and set those to the side. Now to assemble, you're gonna lay down a large hot flour tortilla. You can either use the store-bought one, or you can use our recipe, which is actually in our chicken burrito video. Links in the description for that. Onto the lower third of your tortilla, spoon a generous layer of cooked chorizo, followed by your soft scrambled eggs, one of your hash browns that's been split in half lengthwise. Top with 2 of your thick sliced avocado, a sprinkle of shredded Oaxaca cheese, fold the sides up, and carefully roll this up into a nice tight log. Now, place that seam side down in a medium-sized skillet heated over medium heat, and just let that toast until golden brown, about 1 to 2 minutes. Flip and toast on all other sides. Now, you can do multiple burritos at once, so I would be rolling and toasting these burritos at the same time. Then once they're done, you can split it in half, and look at that beauty. Of course, you can either drizzle on your sauce or have your sauce on the side for dipping. Oh yeah, this looks like a breakfast burrito if I've ever seen one, with a little bit of green sauce on it. Cheers. Wow. This is one of those moments where you make a bunch of different things, you put it all together, and then it's holy matrimony. The marriage of the flavors, but not just the flavors, the textures, the crispiness, the chewiness of the tortilla, the crunch, the toastiness of the hash brown, the fragrance and mild spiciness from the chorizo, and then of course, eggs and avocado, somehow one of the best combos ever, creamy and rich and fatty. This is one of the most perfect ways to enjoy a burrito. Texturally, flavor-wise, I was gonna say it's easy on the stomach, it's really not actually. You will probably have a tummy ache after you eat this, but it's well worth that tummy ache. This is inspired by the burrito that you see at Sobane in LA. It's one of my favorite breakfast burritos ever. So shout out to them for that. This is my version. And if you ever want the greatest breakfast burrito of all time, you either go there or you make this recipe. And the link's in the description for that. Love you so much. Subscribe. Bye. Whoa, whoa, whoa. One more thing. I know, I'm sorry to interrupt you here. If you're still watching, first of all, thank you. Second of all, if you can read that. If you can't read that, please do me a favor. I'm working on a big project. Can't tell you what it is, but follow @BenandLinz on Instagram or go to benandlinz.com in the description and subscribe to the email newsletter and you'll find out about this big project very soon. If you're still watching, you're the first to hear it, so you'll also be the first to find out if you do either of those things. Anyway, love you. Bye.